Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Our largest single-theme land expansion ever.
Now we want you to share with us our latest and greatest dream.
Matterhorn Matt presents Matterhorn Mondays.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 115 of Matterhorn Mondays, coming to you live from the Outpost. I'm your host, Matterhorn Matt.
And I'm Alex the Historian.
And returning champion, final level boss, we have Jeremy back, everybody. Say hello, Jeremy.
Hello, Jeremy.
I knew he was going to say that.
We got a great stream, a great podcast, I should say, planned for all of you guys. So thank you to everyone coming out live to this show. And I should make a note before we start. There will be no podcast next week, everybody. But there will be a podcast the week after, because that week after, the podcast will be live from inside Disneyland with Alex the Historian himself, myself, and I think LMG Vids, Chris, is supposed to join us. I'm not sure if he remembered or not, but Chris, if you're watching...
I'll remind him.
Okay, perfect, thank you, because I feel like he did forget, so no podcast next week, but podcast week after on, I'm thinking Saturday. What day is that Saturday? That's Saturday the 7th. November, Saturday the 7th. Sometime that day, we'll figure out a time and a place to set up our live stream for you guys. But anyways, as you guys know, links to all the Twitters, all the Patreons, you guys know the deal in the description down below. And if you'd like to be wished a happy birthday live on the stream, you can do so by following the link down in the description below. And this week we have two birthdays, actually. Tomorrow... Let's see, that's Sunday, the 24th, is Lynette's birthday. So happy birthday to fan of the channel, Lynette. Channel legend, I should say. And the 26th, Tuesday the 26th, Jade C. It's Jade's birthday, so happy birthday to you two amazing people. Like I said, link in the description below if you'd like to be wished a happy birthday. And also, link in the description below, you guys, for information on the meetup happening in just a couple of weeks, just a little less than 2 weeks, I believe. Friday, December 6th, in the lobby of the Grand Californian Hotel at 1 o'clock p.m. Disneyland time. Alex will be there. I will be there. LMG Vids, Chris from LMG Vids will be there. It's going to be a party, you guys. We're going to be trashing and thrashing all up in the lobby of the Grand Californian. They're going to have to clean up all the confetti we leave. Once we finish. And all of my poop. Yeah, you guys, let's go. Poop jokes already started. Alex is the one to kick it off this time. Normally it's me, but
I just remember last year all the dingleberries he left behind. And,
hey, those were great snacks for some of the people to visit the lobby after us. They make anyways. Link in the description to alexthehistorian.com for information on the meetup. And last but not least, you guys know the drill. 575-386-5814, or leave a voicemail if you'd like to voice your opinion on any of the topics we have at hand today. At hand, I'm showing my hand, you guys. You get it? You can leave a voicemail. You can also text the number. We do prefer voicemails. So, very excited for next week. No, like I said, I feel like I should repeat this one more time. No podcast next week. The week after, there will be a live podcast on both channels, or I believe on just the main channel, the main Matterhorn Matt channel. And then it'll be uploaded to Spotify and to iTunes, all that stuff later on in the week, just because I won't have time to export it and edit it until I get home from Disneyland. So keep that in mind, you guys. And on that note, it's time for everybody's favorite segment, you guys. Everybody's favorite segment. It's time for Matt Snaps.
A whole wide world of knowledge waits underneath the couch. It's once again time this week for Matterhorn night snaps.
This week, you guys, I have a Snapple. Jeremy has a Snapple, but Jeremy did make a boo-boo before the show.
I accidentally opened the Snapple.
You guys.
I didn't
Can we
take
get
a
an
sip.
F in chat, please? Can we get an F in chat for that snap that we never heard?
F in chat, you guys. He'll mimic it, I'm sure. Jeremy will mimic
Trying to close it sealed tight here.
Trying to reseal it. Well, I will start off by popping this bad puppy open here. This is, what is this? Kiwi strawberry, like last week. So let's go ahead and pop this open. Let me get a good angle here on my $10,000 microphone so you guys can pick this up. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good snap. So that's going to be hard to beat, Jeremy. I don't know if you've prepared or not.
Now, let's put this near the microphone. There won't be a snap. I'm just...
You still should have done the snap like...
There was a snap when I first opened it. So
that was amazing. I'd just like to say I could hear the plastic rub against the other plastic of the bottle. It was just great. Thank you, Jeremy, for that. Alex,
thank you, Matt.
Yeah, of course. Alex does not have a Snapple, sadly. But do you have a water bottle at all?
No, but I can make the sound of a Coca-Cola can opening.
Oh my gosh, Alex, you have to do that, please.
Okay, everybody quiet, okay?
That was pretty good. Better than what I could do for sure. All right, so that is this week's Matt Snaps, everybody. And I guess it's time to move on to this week's news. Maybe I should make a harmonized version of the News from the Peak theme song next week, you guys, or week after. We'll see. It's time for News from the Peak, everybody.
We now present to you News from the Peak.
For our first bit of news from the Peak, you guys, we did it, everybody. The Matterhorn has fully reopened at Disneyland. Both sides. I'm not sure what date it was fully reopened in Disneyland, but I do know, you guys, the Fantasyland side, the Tomorrowland side is fully reopened, and as Alex detailed a few weeks ago as well, the hole has been patched up. There is no more hole, except for the places where there were supposed to be holes. Those are still there, but the hole that was not supposed to be there is patched up. So, guys, can we get a round of applause for Disney for fixing the Matterhorn? I guess I should do it too. Yeah, everybody, Matterhorn's fixed, you guys. I believe there will be some semblance of news of Matterhorn news once we get to Alex in the parks. Am I correct, or am I completely wrong?
You're completely correct. I mean, you're always wrong, but you're correct in this moment.
Okay, perfect. Well, yeah, we only have 2 bits of news from the Peak this week, you guys. Not a lot of noteworthy stuff happened this week. At least news from the Peak worthy stuff. So, moving on to our second and final bit of news from the Peak. Guys, we had to scale the Matterhorn to the very top to get these news articles from blogmickey.com. So, guys, shout out to the Matterhorn for supporting myself and not cracking when I was climbing the Matterhorn to get these news articles. For our second and final bit of news from the Peak, the opening of the highly anticipated to me at least, Space 220 restaurant opening in Epcot will be delayed until February of 2020. The restaurant was originally supposed to open late in 2019, which is this year, you guys. That's the year we're in. But I believe the head chef of the restaurant quit or stepped down or something to that effect. So, yeah, I believe that had something to do with the delays. Again, I should note at the very beginning, links to all the articles we're referring to are in the description below. This one happens to come from blogmickey.com. Shout out to blogmickey, you guys. Really great website, I feel like I should say. But do you guys have anything you'd like to say about Space 2020 restaurant being delayed until February of 2020.
I'm sorry, what? I was totally zoned out for a second.
I did too. That's so weird.
I'm sorry,
Who's
Matt.
starting? What's going on?
I asked if you guys had anything you'd like to say about the Space 2020 restaurant opening being delayed until February of 2020, or the Space 220 restaurant being delayed.
Yeah.
So I guess what I will say is that it doesn't surprise me that the chef left. And the reason why is because it really sucks to be a chef for Disney, because like people think that the chefs, like they make the food for the restaurants, like, you know, they design it and they go, okay, this is what I want to cook, and then this is what we're gonna cook. It doesn't work like that. The chef at Disney is really just more like another utensil of the kitchen. Disney decides what they want you to cook, and then they expect the chef to make it happen. And that's how it works. And when chefs come to work for Disney, they start to realize, like, wow, this really sucks. Like, this is not what I signed up for. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's... I'm kind of excited for this restaurant. I think it's going to be a cool theme experience. And I hope that the menu's good.
Yeah, I'm hoping they let us walk outside into space and spacewalk. Wouldn't that be pretty cool, guys? Zero gravity in space. That'd be pretty cool. Because this restaurant is in space, you guys, in case you didn't know that. Not really. I feel like some people would believe me when I say that. But anyways,
actually, I am excited to actually see this eventually. I won't see it for like another 2 years, but yeah.
Very excited, you guys. We only have to wait until February, or according to Disney, February of 2020 to see the opening of this very, from what we've been hearing, very immersive restaurant. But anyways, you guys, that's been news from the peak. And now it's time, everybody, for everyone's second favorite segment behind Matt Snaps, you guys. It's time for Alex in the Parks. In the park. In the park. I love it. Well, Mr. Alex, why don't you go ahead and give a rundown of what the listeners and viewers can expect to get out of this week's Alex in the Park segment?
Do you have the video?
I do, yes.
Oh, okay. I know, because he had trouble before the stream getting the video, so I was like, I didn't know if like I was gonna be just doing the whole thing myself, or if he was. Anyway, okay. So, what you can expect to see in this week's Alex in the Parks is, oh great, another yawn. Okay.
Oh no!
It started, you guys. It started.
It started. I know. It's like a whole thing ahead of us. Don't do that. I'm gonna start yawning now. Okay, so in this week's Alex in the Parks, there has been like a flyer that Disney released for guests to be able to see the holiday offerings and stuff like that at the different restaurants and things. Some really good looking food, and I got to try like 3 different foods this past week. I went to Disneyland twice. I didn't have it all in one day, by the way. But yeah, I got to try like 3 different holiday foods, and that part is not in this Alex in the Park segment because the reviews of the food itself was like several minutes long when you put the 3 together, so I just didn't include it. But the only thing I have to say so far is don't buy the Thanksmas sandwich from Jolly Holiday. That was just awful.
Would you say it tasted like doo-doo?
No, it's not the flavor. It's the texture.
Okay.
The sandwich was it was like beef jerky. Me and Chris, we each bought a sandwich, and we're like, oh, this sounds really good. We're going to eat it. And we were and we were sitting down and trying to eat it, and this thing was so tough and chewy and dry. We had like a cup of water with us, and every bite we're just like, trying to like, eat this sandwich, and it was just like, oh man, awful. And we went to guest relations afterwards to get something, and I was having conversation with the cast member, and I was like, yeah, don't ever buy a sandwich from there. She goes, that's funny, you're the second person this hour to say that. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, anyway, so further on into Alex in the Parks, you'll also see some renderings released for the entrance of Tomorrowland getting redone. We'll talk more about that after the Alex in the Park segment. And the Matterhorn being open, I got to ride it for the first time in 2 years. So I rode the Matterhorn with Chris, and I don't remember if there's anything else. Let's just play the video.
Okay, everybody, Alex in the Parks.
Well, I entered Disneyland early, and this really cool thing is I found this food guide. This was at the entrance of the park. As you're on your way in to grab maps, they actually had this. And it's actually really cool because I was wondering what kinds of holiday foods they had available. So it gives you like a list and everything. So I know one thing that looks really good is on the next page. Well, actually, that sandwich right there says burnt ends grilled cheese sandwich. That looks really good. Where is that? That's at Riverbell Terrace. But there's a few things. So there's that one there which says smothered beef. Sorry if I don't know if it's focused, but it says smothered beef. Doesn't have any description of it. And then above that is the blue lump crab fritters. The crab fritters are at the veranda in New Orleans Square. The smothered beef is in the French Market in New Orleans Square. So I'll be trying out some stuff today. I didn't even know Disney was selling this stuff, but thanks to this guide, now I do. Anyway, filming is happening by the castle right now. Looks like Goofy is there with two other hosts. I can't identify them from here. I'm not even sure if I know them, but all right, we're at the entrance of Tomorrowland, and I see that this planter, which previously had no rails, finally has rails, and it looks really nice, really nicely done. But there's something over here I want you guys to see. So I had just walked up here and started filming, and I saw this concept art on this wall over here, and I just had to take a look and show you guys because it kind of looks really amazing.
The astronometer is now beginning descent. Please remain seated until your rocket ship stops. Then following
It looks like there will be like two concrete circles around the planters here. Basically, the one on the left represents this wall that we're looking at. Looks like it's going to be surrounded in this white concrete circle, and with new plantings and things. Let's see, the bottom says, since Disneyland first opened in 1955, there have been several great, big, beautiful Tomorrowland entrances, and its threshold is being transformed once again. As shown in this concept rendering, guests will soon be entering Tomorrowland on a widened pathway lined with elliptical planters that are filled with swirls of colorful flowers and sculptural spires. In addition to being an alluring and more accessible entryway, keen-eyed guests might spot that this new threshold into the future pays homage to yesterday's Tomorrowlands. That's kind of true. It does look like a retro Tomorrowland, although I do have to admit it doesn't really quite go with the look of the Astro Orbiter in the background. Again, some of the scrims have come down in front of these entrance areas of Tomorrowland. Still no visible like there's literally no difference between when I filmed this several weeks ago till now. So there's been no work on this, but I think that the reason why they're working on this is because of the new designs for the entrance of Tomorrowland that I showed you earlier. Well, I'm here with Chris, that's him over there by the fence, and we both just finished riding the Matterhorn. The Matterhorn, both sides are open, and the patchwork is all finished, and the ride is just as rough as ever, but it's still fun, and I actually haven't rode the Matterhorn in 2 years. The last time I rode it was with Eric, and hi, and Eric and I rode the rides in Disneyland in order. So that was in 2017. That was the last time I ever rode the Matterhorn. And I probably won't ride it again for another 2 years just because of how rough it is and it hurts my back. But anyway, this was actually a pretty good experience. I didn't hurt my back today. So thanks, Chris.
No problem.
Okay, so
Oh my
I
gosh,
just
Jeremy has
wanted to-
glasses.
You didn't know that?
It's magic, guys. How did he put them on so fast?
He even has a second set of glasses, which has like a big nose and a mustache.
Oh,
Right, that's for my Groucho Marx impersonation, which I won't do on this podcast.
Oh God. So I wanted to talk really quickly about. Okay, I don't want to talk too much about the Tomorrowland entrance because I know that's one of our topics today.
see.
But I did end up trying that smothered beef dish, which tasted good, but the problem with it was it looked awful. Like it looked like someone pooped on my plate. And I mean that in its
well,
most
that sounds
literal
that sounds pretty appetizing to me. I don't know about you, Alex.
I mean it in its most literal sense because let me tell you this. I bought the dish, okay? It's basically pot roast with gravy on it, okay?
That sounds good.
And then it's garlic mashed potatoes with gravy on it.
That sounds good.
And then they serve like a small round of Cajun spiced corn on the cob. So it sounded good. It looked good on the picture. It looked amazing, right? Here's the problem. When they served it to me, it was just like they took the plate, they took the mashed potatoes on the plate, they took the beef, just threw it on the plate, and then took the gravy and just smothered it all in gravy. And what I had was like this mess on a plate, just this mess. I walked out of the restaurant. This woman was walking past me to go into the restaurant, and she stopped and she saw what's on the plate. She goes, "Is that what they serve there? Oh, that looks disgusting." And she turned around and walked away.
Oh my
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, yeah, it didn't look good. I would give it like a 3 out of 10 in the looks department. It was awful. It did not look like the picture. And it was okay. I mean, I thought it would be something more. I don't know what I thought it would be, but I didn't realize it would just be pot roast with gravy on it. Like I didn't realize it. But anyway, so that was that. And then what was the other thing I wanted to talk about? I never figured out what the filming was for, but I think it was for just some last minute additional segments that they're going to add to the Christmas Day parade filming. Because they already filmed the whole parade down Main Street several days before that. So I think it was just some last minute stuff like with the hosts in front of the castle and stuff like that.
Did someone say toast?
No. And what was the other thing I mentioned in the video? Was that it? What did I mention in the video besides the food?
The food,
Matterhorn.
the Tomorrowland, the Matterhorn. The filming.
Was that it?
That's it.
I think.
Yeah. The scaffold.
Oh yeah, Tomorrowland thingamabobs.
That'll go into the Tomorrowland.
Oh right, okay.
I guess I didn't. Yeah, talk about anything else. But anyway, the Matterhorn thing was pretty cool. I have nothing else to say about the Matterhorn. It was the same. It's the same ride, same thing, everything.
Okay.
But yeah.
Very cool. Thank you, Mr. Alex, the historian, for that Alex in the Parks once again. Got a round of applause, everybody! Alex in the Parks! And on that note, it is time for our first, that's not our main topic, for our first main topic of the day. Well, I guess let's give a rundown of what our main topics are actually going to be today. First topic, Disney testing actual X-Wings over Galaxy's Edge. Clickbait emoji on the thumbnail. Alex has got the right idea.
Yeah.
That's the thumbnail. Like it's
I hate
photoshopped
those
in.
thumbnails.
Like, oh god.
Just look at people who know that they're subscribed to like clickbait thumbnail YouTubers. Just look at every one of their thumbnails and you will see every single picture they look surprised, like every single thumbnail. There's never one where they're like, "Oh, I'm sad," or another one where they're like,
there
"Oh,
are.
I'm bubbly." It's no, I mean like a YouTuber. I mean a single YouTuber, not like a group of them. I mean like, okay, for instance, there's this one YouTuber that I watch his videos and I like his videos. But the problem is that I looked through all his video thumbnails. Every single one is a surprised face. No other expression at all. And I started to realize that was a thing amongst a lot of YouTubers. Like, I don't know if they know that they're not making any additional faces, but they're not. It's always the surprised face.
No, that's how their face is stuck. It's like a medical condition where it's stuck. They call it emoji face. That's what it's called.
Emoji.
Okay.
Guys, I just realized I forgot to put on deodorant before this stream, so this is pretty awkward.
I can smell it from New York.
Anyways,
you didn't even have to mention that. No one
didn't
can
have
see
to.
it.
I know.
No one can see your smell.
Or can
I have
they?
dead bodies all over the floor. You can't.
Guys, I forgot to clean that. Anyways, for our second topic, we're going to be talking about a new tower coming to the Disneyland Hotel. And for our final topic, we'll be diving deeper into the brand new Tomorrowland Entrance concept art piece that Alex showed off during Alex in the Parks. But first, it's time for our first topic, you guys. This is going to, when I read this off, bear in mind, you guys are going to love it, and then you're going to hate it again instantly after I explain it. So, Disney is currently testing flying 2 SUV-sized X-Wing drones over Florida's version of Galaxy's Edge. So you'd think, that headline right off the bat. This is what they should have done from the very beginning. When is this coming to Disneyland? But you guys, there's a catch. The drones will only be used during the Rise of the Resistance media event happening in December. So this is just a one-time thing, everybody. Just for TV.
Just for Walt Disney World, too.
Yeah, just for Walt Disney World. Nothing for Disneyland.
Yeah. Well, because Disney World is opening first, so that's going to be the huge national media event, and then it'll kind of be like, okay, yay, now the other one's open.
Exactly. So, again, you guys, Disneyland is left on the cutting room floor. What am I? Chopped liver? That's what Disneyland is saying. I mean, I guess they're still getting the
Personally,
ride,
I like chopped liver, so...
I'm sorry. I thought I said that in my head.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Well, as you guys can see from this image, these are pretty big X-Wings, you guys. I'd say maybe like half scale. I don't know how that works, but these images are courtesy, as you can see from the watermark, blogmickey.com. So Walt Disney did get permission to fly in 2016 to fly drones over Walt Disney World Resort. The permit is apparently only for small drones, not for these big, humongous drones. So even if they wanted to fly these drones over Galaxy's Edge every evening, I'm sure they'd have to jump through some legal contingencies with the Federal Aviation, FAA, Federal, you guys know what I'm trying to say. Federal
Aviation's Anonymous.
Academy Anonymous.
I'm addicted to flying. I can't stop.
It's like that. Have you guys seen that new Pixar Spark short, Float, on Disney Plus? That reminded me of that. The baby starts floating and it can't stop floating.
Oh no, I didn't watch that. Is that one good?
It's okay. It's not as good as Kit Bowl. That one's my favorite one that they've done. But anyways, that had nothing to do with that. But
these drones, they look pretty cool. And I thought about it. I'm like, gee, why don't they bring that, like as almost like maybe almost a nightly thing, at Disneyland or something. And I think like the more I thought about it, the more impractical it sounded, because the thing about like they might be able to do this in Florida on a nightly basis if they wanted to. Because Florida's like upper air is usually like pretty calm for most of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But Disneyland, the air in higher elevations is usually is usually always moving, which is why fireworks are canceled like so frequently. And I know that drones are designed to like stay in place or be very well controlled even in high wind conditions, but these aren't like ordinary drones. These are like dressed up in ways that the manufacturer never expected them to build it. So they catch wind and turbulence in ways that are unpredictable, which makes them dangerous. And they're the size of an SUV, and they've got propellers that can like chop people's heads off. So it's dangerous, and I can see why they probably wouldn't want to do it here. But I think though that for the most part, they could do it in Florida on a nightly basis if they wanted to.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. They do look really cool. I haven't seen any videos of them, I don't think, unless you guys in the chat in the comments can find like videos of them flying around. I just have these images here from blog Mickey. But Jeremy, what are your thoughts on these new drones? These new one-time use drones coming to Galaxy's Edge in Florida.
Disposable drones.
I think that's going to be really cool. And it's a really cool idea. I agree. I didn't realize they were SUV sized. That's big for not a military grade drone, basically. So I think that's cool. I agree with Alex on everything, so I won't waste a lot of time. But yeah, totally impractical to do every night. I see Alex's point about being able to do that in Florida, not just the quality of the air, but just like they own the land.
Yeah.
To be able to create, like a little mini airport for those drones, whereas Disneyland is just like, and then it's the rest of the city of, Anaheim. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, impractical, and you don't want giant SUVs flying around every night, and because inevitably then the odds just increase that those SUVs will come crashing down. That's not good. So yeah, it'll be really cool and well put together for the media event, and yeah.
Mad Science said they barely did gondolas. I don't know if I trust him with flying SUVs. It's a good point.
Right. Good point.
That is.
But they're not. At least they're not going to advertise it as an innovative form of transportation.
Oh my gosh.
Why can't they just build actual X-wings that fly, you guys? I mean, you'd think they already have airplanes that were invented in 1920 by, what's his face? The brothers, or the Redenbacher brothers. It shouldn't be too hard to make flying X-wings that are real. Can we get an F in chat, you guys, for Disney? But
can we have an F in chat for Matt? No more jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, F in chat for Matt.
Next week, I'll have to take a vow every podcast and never try to tell any more jokes on the show. I'll put my hand on a Disneyland map and then one hand over my heart. And I'll vow on stream. Anyways, yeah, these are pretty big drones, like you guys said. I mean, hopefully in the future we get something like this for Galaxy's Edge, because as of currently, or as of late, the airspace in the spaceport in Disneyland and Florida is very silent, is very empty, I guess I should say. So yeah, this would be a real neat addition to Galaxy's Edge, immersive-wise. Hopefully, in the future, we'll see something like this. But for our second topic of the day, this is epic, you guys. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I guess it is, but Disneyland plans to build a new tower at the Disneyland Resort for a vacation club timeshare. So I have an image here on screen, courtesy of ocregister.com, I believe. Everybody's favorite website. Gosh, I love the OC Register. So yeah, real neat little infographic here that shows where the tower is supposed to be. You can see the Fantasy Tower, the Adventure Tower, the Frontier Tower, and of course the new project area that they're calling it here. Disney has proposed a new 12-story timeshare tower next to the Disneyland Hotel, and the application was submitted on Friday the 22nd, and the new tower will, as of now, include 350 rooms for Vacation Club members, and according to the OC Register, this is not set to open until sometime after 2022, I believe. So it's not necessarily something that's going to be coming in the near future, but Alex looks very confused. Alex, what's on your mind?
Well, it's just it's going to have awful views of the neighborhoods of Anaheim, because if you to the west of it is Walnut Street, and right across from Walnut Street is these like really like ramshackle neighborhoods, and like a huge like facing of that building is literally looking out that way. And so I'm like, how are they gonna do that? Because it looks off like, okay, if you look at the way the Fantasy Tower and the Frontier Tower were designed, they're designed so the rooms face either inward towards the courtyard or outward away towards the rest of the resort property. But none of the rooms of those two towers face that way. They learned that from the issues they had with the Adventure Tower when that was built back in the 60s. So it was just like, it's just weird. I'm like, who's gonna want to pay all that money for a timeshare to like open their window and see Anaheim?
Yeah.
It's just
Avery says they should call it the Tomorrow Tower. I think they should call it the Cash Grab Tower. What do you guys think about that?
I think they should call it the Cash Grab Tower.
Jeremy, what are your thoughts on this brand new, amazing experience for all these rich people?
Well, I think, yeah, when you put it that way, I guess resentment is the first thing that comes to mind. I don't know. I don't really care about the Disney Vacation Club. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion about it. I mean, it's nothing that I'm gonna, you know, people will stay there. I hope it looks nice, and I love that. Actually, I love that courtyard in the Disneyland Hotel. Look, I'm trying to look at this. Okay, so you go downtown Disney this way, and okay, I see where it is. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll never stay there. I can't afford timeshares.
We can all pool collectively, all three of us, and we can buy a timeshare.
So,
the three of us just have a room. Like, we can always just.
That would be pretty cool.
Use.
That would be cool. Why don't we do that?
How much, guys?
The Matterhorn Matt.
We can host awesome parties, you guys, like back in college, you guys. Anyways,
you know what though? I feel like
so that doesn't apply.
I feel like if I was gonna get a timeshare, I would probably be staying over at the Grand Californian one.
That's true, yeah.
Right. Such a. I mean, what a beautiful hotel. Yeah.
Yeah. It would just But you know, I wanted to. You think that the theming for this tower will be? You know, what will the designs be in your opinion?
Well, first of all, I love Avery's idea. We have the Frontier Tower with the model of Big Thunder Mountain in there. I love going in there to look at that model.
Yeah.
We have the Adventure Tower, of course, themed to Adventureland, and the Fantasy Tower themed to Fantasyland. They have a lot of great Fantasyland concept art in there. It's really, I love going through there to look at that. So I think the natural thing would be the Tomorrow Tower, and I would love to, if we're allowed, to at least go in the lobby to see whatever concept art models they would put in there. I don't know if the Space Mountain model has found a home ever since the Disneyland Gallery left the New Orleans Square. Remember, there used to be that back room, Alex, with where the Space Mountain model was. I don't think it's had a home since. Yeah, I don't think it's had a home since then. So that would be great to see there. However, given the way they've been designing hotels lately, I think it's going to be very generic.
That's a lot of money, you guys.
He's very. Oh wow! Is that?
Yeah, we can't do that.
Oh my.
Well, it was worth a shot.
Airfare.
Yeah, can't do that.
I have to be careful what I say though, because I know people who are actually going to get this timeshare.
Oh, is it Jeremy? No. Well, guys, what if instead of the Tomorrowland Tower, they call it the Galaxy's Edge Tower, and it's themed all to Star Wars?
You know what? My. That's a possibility.
It could be a smaller version of the hotel coming to Hollywood Studios. That'd be pretty. Guys, synergy,
you know what they
guys.
should do? They should build another tower and call it the Main Street Tower and have it all themed to Main Street stuff. And what if there was like a suite at the very top? It was like Walt's apartment.
Oh. Or the Lincoln,
I don't know.
The Lincoln Suite.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Or the Opera House Suite. Yeah, that's good.
I would, if I was doing like a timeshare thing, I would love to stay in a Disney timeshare that was like themed like to Main Street, like Victorian or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I want a piece of that, like what Walt and Lily had with the apartment, and then later on, when the Lily Bell parlor car was built, like it's just got this amazing style to it, and I love that style too, but we don't see any of that in any of the Disney properties. So I would love to see that.
Yeah, Carrie says, I'm a Disney Vacation Club owner at the Grand Cali, and I'm excited because I can use my points at the 7 months mark at this new Disneyland tower if needed. This will be very popular. Carrie, if you don't mind, I'd like for, or I guess just someone in general who knows anything about this. How does the pricing work? Because, I showed that $53,000,
right?
I thought Matt was going to ask
you.
I mean,
unless I was going to be like, oh yeah, well, if you're ever not using,
yeah,
you finance. I mean, the average American will finance it, so I'm assuming that's what's done. But
okay, so it's like 300.
I'm sure Carrie is typing. Ha 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 ha. Is that a yes?
Carrie, or I guess it doesn't have to be Carrie. It could be someone else in chat who owns, who knows anything about these timeshares. But there is a quote here from Disney Vacation Club Senior Vice President Terry Schultz, and she says, "We look forward to working closely with the Disneyland Resort, the City of Anaheim, and engaging our neighbors on this project, which would also create new jobs and spending in the community, as well as generate additional revenue for the city." You guys, I totally believe what they're saying after the last 2 hotels they tried building did not work at Disneyland. So it's totally going to happen.
Hey, it's a minimum of like $160 a year, I believe. If that's true, we could split that.
Wait,
it's only it's a minimum of $160 a year.
I kind of am skeptical about that.
Yeah. I'm like, wait.
Maybe it's like
that.
Maybe it's like you pay $160 a year, and then
willing
after
to
10
do
years,
it right now.
You can stay. I don't know.
Maybe it's
it's probably exactly
an hour.
Oh, Carrie just said no, so I guess that debunks
No.
Superstar Limo.
I'm sure all those no's were for everything that we've said.
Yeah, we'll let Carrie take some time to type out, and then we'll see what she has to say. So,
or leave a voicemail, Carrie.
Yeah, that'd be even better.
Yes,
the number.
Carrie, leave a voicemail.
Let's see. The number, in case you guys forgot, 575-386-5814 if you're interested, Carrie. leave a voicemail explaining how the DVC works. I mean, there are kiosks all over the parks and resorts, so I never bothered to stop and ask how those timeshares work. So
don't forget to hit the number 3 extension to donate toilet paper to Matterhorn Matt.
Oh yeah, I'm out of toilet paper, guys. I ate my last roll the other day.
What part of you ate that? Never mind. I don't want to ask.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, so like I said, I'm sure you guys well know the previous sort of fiasco the Walt Disney Company has been getting in with the city of Anaheim. I'm sure you guys remember that Four Diamond Hotel that was supposed to open. Wasn't that supposed to already be open by now? I could be wrong. I can't remember. The Four Diamond Hotel that Disney proposed to replace the restaurants at Downtown Disney.
Yeah, it would have been open, I think, next year in spring.
Next year. Well, you guys.
Yeah.
I totally trust that Disney will end up building. I mean, I guess it's technically not a new hotel. It's a new. It's like an expansion to the additional hotel, so I'm sure it's not as hard when it comes to fighting with the city of Anaheim to get it built. But anyways, only the best TP for Matt. Thank you, Timothy. Anyways, do you guys have any other thoughts you'd like to say about this brand new tower coming to the Disneyland Hotel?
No.
All right. Well, before we get into our final well, let's read what Carrie said. She said, yeah, you pay up front for points and yearly dues. Each resort costs different amounts per points. Interesting. So,
okay.
I still don't understand.
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys.
You know, there's a reason why they make you go to those DVC appointments and get told the whole, because they have to teach you how it works.
Such a process. I remember when I was my first trip to Disney World in the summer of 2001. Like, for some reason, my parents were interested in entertaining the idea of possibly doing a timeshare, because they were starting to build the Boardwalk timeshare at the Boardwalk Hotel. It's a great hotel. Love that hotel. It's beautiful. And so we had to go to I had to wait for them at that, like, what felt at like 5-hour like presentation. Very boring. That was a waste of time sharing that.
Wait, you
story.
said 5 hours?
What felt like.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't that long.
I was going to say.
It was probably, realistically, it was probably an hour to 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was a teenager, they were building Aulani Resort, and the DVC was they set up like I don't know what you call them, but like dummy rooms of the Aulani. Yeah. I don't know what they call those.
They did that for them too, and you actually tour through what the rooms would look like.
And it was really cool because since my dad worked at the Disneyland Hotel, since my dad worked at the hotel, I was waiting for him to get off work, and I was just like, oh, okay. And he said, you should go over there and just walk through. And I'm like, what? Don't I have to like get an appointment or something? He goes, no, they're on lunch or something. So there's probably like one person there, and they'll just tell you just walk in and just enjoy yourself. I'm like, oh, okay. And the people there knew him. And so like, and so he, so yeah, I went over there, and there was one person standing there. They were just like a person on breaking the people on break. Anyway, they said I could walk into these different rooms, and I could just like walk around and just enjoy myself or whatever. So I went in there, and I remember just walking through all the different rooms, and there was like a suite, and then there was like a medium-sized room, and then a small standard-sized room, and whatever, and then there was like a room for DVC and all that. I remember just getting to explore that with, and that was really cool because I wasn't like on like a time schedule. I could just at my leisure just pretend like for a second I was at Aulani Resort before it was even built. It's so cool.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading T. Will's comment. I love how DVC is something you guys have no interest in, yet can still talk about for over a half hour.
Now, hold on a second. I never said that I had no interest
That
in
was
it.
me. That was me.
Yeah. I have a deep interest in DVC. I want to be a member of DVC, but I will never in my life have the money for that. I mean, that's just a pipe dream. I mean, to even think I'll have the money for that is just a joke.
Yeah, it's a good point. It is like having a second mortgage, I would assume, because the average person would probably just have to finance that, and it is a multi-year commitment. So then you're stuck paying off something that's really expensive, not just like financing a new computer. Or not even financing a new car. You're financing a real estate. So it is like that. That's a financial commitment.
Yeah. Before we move on, Superstar Limo sent me this article on Discord explaining how all this works. And I'm interested. I mean, I'm not interested in buying. I'm interested in knowing how it works. So let's just run this down very quickly. Points. How do the points work? When you buy, this is from allears.net. I'll put the link in the description. I guess I shouldn't. Well, I mean, I will. I don't want people to accidentally get sucked into this, but when you buy into the Disney Vacation Club, you purchase a set number of quote-unquote vacation points. The minimum number of points that may be bought in your initial purchase, if buying through Disney directly, is currently 160 points, and the maximum is 2,000 points. Let's see, you only buy these points once. They are then allocated on a yearly basis until the contracts end. For example, if you buy 250 vacation points in your initial purchase, you will receive 250 points each year to quote-unquote spend on your vacation accommodations. Let's see, initial purchase. The current price to purchase ownership in the DVC is ranging from $140 to $160 per point, with a 100-point minimum. So that's $14,000 for 100 points at the $140 range. So yeah, so I guess that basically runs that, if you guys are interested in that. I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm not claiming to be an expert. If you guys are interested in this, I'd recommend talking to an expert, but I guess that sort of gives a better rundown of how that works. So yeah, I'm not rich. I mean, I wish I could, I bet we could all three of us could pool our money together and buy.
I'm in so much debt, I can't even tell you. I'm not gonna put myself even more in debt for a timeshare.
But it's can't we just buy? We should just buy one of the hotels instead of buying a timeshare at the hotel. I feel like that'd be more. I feel like that'd be better use of our money. Anyways,
I'm sick of this topic. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Before we move on to our final topic, it's time for some sponsors, you guys. Woohoo! If you guys are wondering where you can find even more family-friendly live streams just like this one, head on over to theliveplace.com. The Live Place is your headquarters for great family-friendly live streams. They cover anything from Disney to other vacation spots, various variety shows, and have some amazing streamers like Resort TV 1 and myself. Also, be sure to check out puckermint.com, where you can find amazing pins and stickers. Puckermint is based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, just a few hours from where I live, and since I'm a big believer in supporting local artists, we decided to partner up. Be sure to use the coupon code down below when you make your next order. Again, that's puckermint.com and puckermint on Instagram.
I'll try to find those pictures and I'll send them to you, Matt. They're really nice. Oh, are we back?
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Guys, they're not the kinds of pictures you're thinking about, guys.
Oh no.
They're, I mean, I don't care if people are in the middle of the conversation. I'm talking to you, Matt. Everyone else, fine. Okay, I'll talk to you later, Matt.
Okay. Family-friendly content. I mean, not family-friendly content, you guys. This is not made for children, this podcast. YouTube, if you're watching.
Right. Right.
It's
just more...
This is not
more
Snapple.
reason-
This is beer. This is straight vodka, Disney.
I
Or,
am not
YouTube.
affiliated with these two. I don't know. Alex the Historian is not the spokesperson of the Matterhorn Matt channel.
Anyways.
Now they actually think we were talking about something inappropriate. We're talking about the DVC posters that have been put in, or the Adventures by Disney posters that have been put in Tropical Hideaway. And what I was saying as we were coming back on the air and I was caught, I said, the posters actually look very nice, but they're just weird that they're there and they're advertisements for that. Now you know, and everything's okay.
Well,
God.
I'd like to point out, Alex, I used to have that exact same shirt you're wearing, but I lost it.
This one? Really?
Yeah, I have a sweater almost like that as well, but it's blue with the same graphic on it. And I had a white shirt like that with that graphic as well, but it got lost somewhere. And I was reminded when I saw that when I saw
have
you.
it right here.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, I was reminded about how sad I was that I lost it when I saw you wearing the exact same style of shirt.
Maybe
Alex,
you didn't lose it.
Did Alex steal my shirt? Oh my gosh, you guys.
Yeah, and then I stretched it to size.
Well, it's time for our final topic, you guys. And we touched on this. Oh, well, I guess before we move on, we have voicemails to get to from none other than Avery. So let's see. Which one should we listen to today? All right, here we go.
They're spending a lot of money on drones for a one-time media event. It reminds me of when they did the Dragon for the new Fantasyland media event. When that new expansion at Magic Kingdom opened years ago, they did a dragon, and now they're doing these Star Wars droids for another media event. I wish they did that every night, though. You would think they would keep that instead of just doing it for media to show oh, look, the land will have this. No, it won't. That's just a one-time thing. And in terms of, the Alice in the Park segment with the Tomorrowland entrance, they reuse old concept art. You can see the rocket rods in the background. It makes you think, will the rocket rods make a return? Is Eisner back? Is Eisner an Imagineer now? I mean, at least the entrance is a step in the right direction. Maybe they're keeping the actual overture for now because they're just focusing on the main entrance part, and then they'll focus on the rest of the land later. But we'll see. Although I'm pretty sure it'll be announced at the next D23, the new Tomorrowland, hopefully.
Thank you, Mr. Avery, for that lovely voicemail. And that is something maybe we should dedicate to an entire different topic about how Disney has advertised Galaxy's Edge, because there have been other, besides the X-Wing drones flying over for the media event, there have been other instances of media-only, experiences that I don't know if mislead is the right word, mislead the audience into thinking that stuff like that happens on a daily basis throughout the park. I think there was a Hondo Onoka? I don't know how to say his name.
Onaka.
Walk around character, I think, at one of the media events for Florida's Galaxy's Edge. Maybe we'll dedicate that to a separate topic, but anyways, we do have a final topic to talk about here today, you guys, and I guess it's already spoiled because Alex already talked about it in Alex in the Parks, but this is huge news, you guys. Disney just unveiled brand new concept art for the entrance of Tomorrowland, and this is for Disneyland, as you can see, not for Magic Kingdom's Tomorrowland. As you can see in the image, it shows that the patches of grass will eventually be replaced by colorful flowers, like most people predicted. And that there will be like Alex said, I guess like concrete domes or structures, or a concrete structure built around the existing What is that building's official name for the Astro Orbiter? Like the pump room? Is that what they would call it?
There's no official name. There's a nickname going around because of some spray paint on the side of the concrete that Fresh Baked saw. I think they call it like the EMF building or something.
Oh, yeah, something like that.
But it's not. There's no official name for it. What I know is in there is it's an electrical room and a air pump room for the Astro Orbiter. So I call it just like a bunker because that's really what it is. It's partially underground, so it's kind of like a bunker. But yeah. So I had some things to say about this concept art.
Yeah, we do. I think I do as well, but Alex, continue.
I think I do as well. So this is going to be a 3-hour segment.
Yeah, here we go.
Alex, your hour starts now.
All right, here we go, people. We're going to get this show on. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm sure what everybody wants to talk about right now is the rocket rods and the old-fashioned color scheme of Tomorrowland in this concept art. First and foremost, I must say, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain because what they did was they took a photograph of the Tomorrowland entrance, probably from 1998, like some kind of promotional photograph, and then they added on to that to create this concept art. Why they chose one from 1998 and not recently, I don't know. But I mean, it's as easy as like sending a PhotoPass cast member out there to take one picture.
Yeah.
Or heck, just, one of the concept art designers just take a weekend, go to Disneyland, snap a picture. I don't know. Anyway, so this is an old photograph that they just overlaid the new concept art on top of. I wouldn't take seriously any of the color schemes or anything beyond these new planter areas. But when it comes to the planter areas, I wanted to just say like one thing, which is I think that these new planter areas, they're going to have one more thing that is not in these pictures.
It's gonna be Captain EO. It's a stage that rises up, you guys. Captain EO performs every hour. Michael Jackson himself.
Alex, you said you were gonna make an oath, some like swearing that you'd not make those jokes.
What jokes?
That was next week. I was gonna do that.
Oh,
not this episode. This episode is full. Whatever I want.
Can I just finish?
Yes.
Okay. So that thing that's missing from this concept art is the new entrance signs that say Tomorrowland.
Oh, right.
Yes. And I think that these two elliptical circles or whatever they want to call them, I think they're inside of them up on top, probably supported by these spiky towers. There will be a sign on each side that says, and it'll say Tomorrowland with the new Tomorrowland aesthetic look. And I think that's what they're going to be, because the current signs that are up that say Tomorrowland are just really like last minute bolted to the People Mover track. And they say Tomorrowland. I mean, and so it's just like, they're just temporary. So I think these new planters, they're going to be the new Tomorrowland entrance signs. And I think it'll look cool. And I think, though, that the last thing I wanted to say was that the work that I was showing going on the walls of the Astro Blasters building and the Star Tours building, what I've been following for weeks, whatever work that they're doing there, which I don't know what they're doing exactly, but whatever work they're doing there is going to be to fit the aesthetic of these new planters when that eventually happens. And we're probably going to be seeing another repaint of the Astro Orbiter just because its golds and copper colors don't really match with this pristine white Tomorrowland look, of which I'm hoping they do get back into. You guys know.
Mic drop.
Oh God.
Who first? Me or you, Matt?
I know. I'll pick Eeny, Miny, Miny, Mo.
Okay.
Okay. It's gonna be Jeremy. You know why? Because
you're gonna start on me.
No, because whatever you start Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo on is the one you're gonna end with.
Oh yeah, I got it mixed up, and yeah, that's how it works.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Well, I don't like this concept art. I like what it's going to be in person. I like if you just kind of isolate those two things on the side there with the planters and the structures. I think that's going to look nice. Eventually, here's what I think. There's good news here, at least for like-minded people. We have new entrance sign of Tomorrowland in the Magic Kingdom recently gone up. People refer to it as the cup holder. However, it is in a certain style that is starting to emerge throughout Magic Kingdom's, or should I say re-emerge throughout Magic Kingdom's Tomorrowland. This makes me hopeful for Disneyland's Tomorrowland. If there is a new Tomorrowland on the horizon within this next decade. That both of these new Tomorrowlands that are being sort of aesthetically teased every now and then, we're gonna see a return to a style that worked, an art direction that worked, not because it feels retro, but because it actually is a timeless aesthetic for communicating the future. The reason why we had the type of the comparable, first of all, the 98 Tomorrowland was compromised vision of what they wanted that Tomorrowland to be. But the reason why Disneyland's Tomorrowland started to sway from that style was mostly because at the time it was, we were going to get Westcott. We were going to get our whole, park dedicated to, the ideas that Tomorrowland started to communicate. And Magic Kingdom, of course, went to the more zany, really ultra 90s look because, they had Epcot. It was redundant, especially the Tomorrowland Magic Kingdom it would be really redundant there. So basically what my point is that all these small architectural changes are hinting at a future new Tomorrowland overhaul for both castle parks in the country. However, this concept art does not showcase that. So I think people are half joking when they say, I see a rocket rod in the background. That means that
guys, are the rocket rods coming back?
The rocket rods are returning. The rocket rods are not returning. I think that the reason why New Tomorrowland is going to take so long is yes, partly because of scheduling. There's other projects that are lined up. You've heard a lot of people share the inside scoop that they're going to focus on a new Fantasyland before they focus on a new Tomorrowland. Alex will probably have a better idea of what that scheduled lineup is. But I think, Alex, I'm even remembering this from something you've said on a previous show, Alex. But yes, exactly. When I think partly why they're pushing Tomorrowland down the list, even though there's more public demand for a new Tomorrowland, and there needs desperately to be a new Tomorrowland. There needed to be one a decade ago, pretty much. I think it's because the Imagineers are working hard on figuring out a logistical way to bring back the People Mover, whether it's in that same track or not. I think they know that in creating a new Tomorrowland for Disneyland, it's on everybody's mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's what everybody is hoping. And they know that if they're able to resurrect the People Mover in some way, shape, or form, that that is gonna be a huge success, and it's gonna make people more likely to be like, I love this new Tomorrowland.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think it's taking them a while, because they have to logistically figure out how they can do that, with, of course, all the new regulations on even having a structure like that. Alex is forming an opinion. I can't wait to hear it, Alex. So that's why I think that's taking a while. But so these are hints that on the horizon, we're getting hints at what the overall architectural aesthetic is going to be for these two new Tomorrowlands. And I'm liking what I see. I don't like this concept art. I think it's ugly and contrived.
Yeah. Why are there so many trees also?
I just want everyone who does concept art to go back and do oil on canvas and make a poem visually and communicate the ideas. I hate these concept art pieces that come out that feel like the clip art's been copied and pasted. It doesn't communicate anything effectively. Anyway.
Yeah. Alex, did you have anything to say as well?
I didn't even do my...
Okay.
I just almost fell off my chair. I'm sorry, continue.
I think... So I haven't even discussed yet what I actually thought about the way this looks. And I think in terms of my opinion on the way it looks, I think it looks pretty ugly.
I kind of do too.
Yeah.
Because it's not meant for this Tomorrowland. It's meant for a future Tomorrowland down the line. But anyway, continue.
Well, I just think like, even though it's okay, so it's not that it's because it's Googie style, like not even at all. Like I love the Googie style and the mid-century modern architecture. I think Tomorrowland should go back to that. But what I don't like about it is how odd it looks. Now, I want you guys to look really carefully. Do you see the lampposts that look like little white orbs there?
Now I do.
Those are the original Main Street cast iron lampposts. Okay, those are Main Street style. You know, they are not of the future, and they look to be painted white. And that does not look good. Like that's
just the artwork, though. I feel like that's just like, oh, there's the Main Street lamps here. Let's do something.
No, why? I mean, they created created new artwork for those planters. So why wouldn't they just create new artwork for the lampposts to go with them? Anyway, the point is that and the other thing too that I find really just bothersome is how big these two giant circles
I have
are.
something to say about that once you're finished.
It looks like there was, you know what this looks like to me? This looks like a giant white robot was standing at the front of Tomorrowland and someone chopped his feet off. You know?
Oh my god, it does. Yeah,
It
the
does,
flowers are his
like,
toes. Yeah.
Maybe that's the concept.
Oh.
Yeah, and then the towers that are left are just like what was left of I don't know, his wiring and his skeleton. It just looks weird, but anyway, the last thing I wanted to leave you guys with in terms of my opinion is this may not be the final look. I mean, Disney changes stuff last minute because it looks good to them on paper, but then when they actually start building it, they go, "Oh, I didn't realize how ugly this was." And so sometimes they change stuff. I wish they did that when they built Tomorrowland of '98, but they didn't. So, yeah.
Okay, well, here's my overarching theory on this piece of concept art. Now, from my understanding, the main reason they're putting those concrete things there, one is to hide that that building that used to be for the Astro Orbiter. So, they can't just put one on one side, so they have to mirror it to the other side. So my overarching theory is that this is not going to be part of the new Tomorrowland that they eventually open, because they can't just leave that
opposite theories.
Yeah, they can't just leave that abandoned building underneath that piece of concrete, can they? They have to go in there, eventually tear it down. I mean, maybe they'll tear it down and then put these new pieces of concrete in, but from my understanding, those pieces of concrete were there to hide that building, right? That's just what I was getting from that. So from my theory is that in the future, they're going to remove this, whatever this is. I mean, of course, this has to be cheap. This does not look to be expensive whatsoever. I mean, these concrete bunkers, these spires from the old bandstand, I think, sort of reminiscent of that from Tomorrowland. I feel like this is going to get completely demolished, redone once they eventually figure out what their new concept is for Tomorrowland. It feels really temporary to me. That's my overarching theory on that.
I agree that it does look temporary, and I think that's a possibility. However, we don't know for sure that they're going to re-put back what was it eventually called? Not Astro Orbiter. What was it previously called? The Astro Jets or something? Rocket Jets. Yeah. Well, that was. Oh, Rocket Jets. We don't know if they're going to put that back on the People Mover platform. We don't know if they're there could still be that type of attraction could still be the entrance. So I agree with you that it looks temporary, though.
I really want people. Okay, I'm sorry if this sounds really harsh, everybody. I apologize, but this is my tough love. This is because I love everybody who's watching this, but I say this out of love. I really wish you would put away the notion that they're gonna open another spinner ride up there on top of the People Mover platform. It's just not gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many reasons why they can't do it. If they were to do it, it would have to be by destroying the original, building an entirely new one, which would look entirely different thanks to the fact that, now we have things such as ADA compliance and all that, right. So it would look very different from the one that we know and love. And so when it comes to the original structure, I wish people would stop saying, put it back up there. It's not going to happen. And especially not with the Astro Orbiter we have right now. Mm-hmm. We all know that machine was put in front of Tomorrowland because it weighed too much to put it on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just not going to happen. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I agree with that as well, but yeah.
It's a good point, and it also is just like people also can't comprehend the if they're going to bring back, which I do believe this, I think they are going to try to bring back the People Mover. They're going that whole track, that whole center piece is going to be gone completely. It's going to be a different load area. It's going to be a different, because they have to figure out how to make a People Mover that's fit for all the regulations that are for today. And and we should hope for an architecturally different landscape for Tomorrowland. I mean, it's true. I mean, the 67 Tomorrowland is just like perfect layout, everything. I understand why they kind of kept that basic format for the 98 Tomorrowland on top of, budget cuts. But it's, we should want a Tomorrowland that is radically different than the format we already know. And so I agree with you in terms of relating it to that. That's not to say I'm not nervous about them doing a new Tomorrowland.
Gary Vaughn or Timothy says, why can't they, in relation to putting the Astro Orbiter back on top of where the People Mover platform is, why can't they? Walt Disney World does it. Well,
it's really complicated, but basically the one here in our Tomorrowland is a bit older than the one at Walt Disney World. The one at Walt Disney World is also grandfathered into their, to their Florida OSHA standards. I don't know what's called, Florida OSHA. There is such thing, but I don't know what they call it. And because it's still operating and they've altered it over the years, and it's always been the same rides up there, it's fine. Ours is different. Ours, first of all, we built something called the rocket rods, which, according to several sources, have said that they've permanently damaged the structures that support the People Mover track all over Tomorrowland, including the main station area, simply because these vehicles are really heavy. I mean, you have to imagine it's almost like putting Indiana Jones style Jeep vehicles up there, but because that's basically what they were, and except without the simulator. Anyway, they were heavy, and they moved at relatively fast speeds for what the track is designed for, which is slow.
When
speed.
they worked,
when they worked, and so the thing is like just the sheer amount of weight moving around up there it's not what this track was designed. And on top of that, Cal OSHA is now extremely they are very strict, a lot more strict than other states are, about ADA compliance and safety and blah blah blah. So the People Mover track currently at Disneyland, it is not anywhere near safe enough for operation. Look at what they did to the Alice in Wonderland ride. A lot of people think that everyone is like, So a lot of people think that Disney was the one that wanted to widen the track path up there on Alice and all that, but it wasn't Disney. It was OSHA. No. They shut the ride down and they said, look, this outdoor portion is not safe enough for people to get on and off the ride or for cast members to walk down the track. So Disney had to widen it significantly on both sides. Now, if they wanted to run the People Mover at Disneyland again using this track, and let's just say there, for some miracle, it wasn't damaged by the weight of the former attraction, they would have to widen both sides of the People Mover track so that way it could fit with the current standards that are out there. And the way that people get on the ride would have to be altered in order to comply with ADA compliance. There is currently one elevator that goes up to the People Mover platform, but one elevator is not enough if they're going to open a new ride. So Cal OSHA is going to demand that they increase the capacity of the elevator that they have there. So it's just not going to happen, not with what we currently have.
Yeah. Well, we do have some voicemails on this topic. Let's see. We have one from, I think this is from Superstar.
Oh,
no, we have people of different voicemails from.
T. Will said he sent one.
Yeah, we have one from T. Will. We have one from Timothy, and we have one from what's his face? I can't. I'm so sorry. I cannot remember your name. Superstar Limo in chat. So let's give his a listen first.
Hey, Matt. I just want to say I'm 100% convinced that Rocket Rods is returning to Tomorrowland, and there's nothing you can say that persuades me to not think so. This is new concept art we have not seen before, and we've known in recent years Disney has repainted the track and cleared some of the rubble off of the track, so that's what makes me think this could be happening, and I hope so hard that this is actually happening. Because I want to go on the Rocket Rods again. Or not again, but I want to go on the Rocket Rods and want to see it open again, finally. So it can finally finish its refurbishment after 20 years. Thank you.
I think most of that was satire.
I hope so. Because it's not coming back. It would be a huge mistake. No, the Rocket Rods are not coming back. I'm sorry to say.
I think that's
I know
something
you said whatever we
all of
say
us can agree on.
you, but
the one topic.
It was an interesting idea.
I agree.
Honestly,
yeah.
It the idea that was there was it was like having the most exciting part of Test Track in Tomorrowland. It was
with great views and
but it just didn't. They didn't execute it well, and now it's permanently destroyed all our hopes for reusing the track.
Let's see. Let's get to this voicemail from Timothy.
Hey guys, this is Timothy Luscombe from Florida. Just want to say, do you ever think they'll move the Astro Orbiter back to its original location? It just seems like it's too close to the hub in Disneyland. Just want to see what your thoughts are about that. Thanks.
I think in the past, on past episodes, we've detailed what our sources have been telling us when it comes to new locations for an Astro Orbiter type attraction. And unless, like Alex said earlier, unless they do end up demolishing that whole platform and rebuild it and put it back. I mean, I'd like to see a version of the original rocket jets back up there. I feel like that'd be a real neat addition. But yeah, again, I don't think, same with what Jeremy said, I don't think really anything in Tomorrowland is going to be saved besides Space Mountain when it comes to a new Tomorrowland.
Can I tell you my biggest fear about riding rides like Dumbo or the Astro Orbiter is so the rockets that you ride on in that ride, they are attached to the boom with only 4 bolts. And I have this fear in the back of my head that if I ride it, it'll just be the day and time that it just so happened those bolts fail. Okay. And I'm going to go flinging across the landscape. Right. And then, but even worse, if it was up there on top of the People Mover platform, I might find myself embedded into Space Mountain. So
what a way to go, Alex.
Yeah. I mean,
great view. Disneyland, a unique view of Tomorrowland.
Think of how much money Disney would pay you too for flying out.
I just
he
know
would not survive.
I mean, if he did happen to survive.
Yeah, if you survive, then you can get that timeshare.
Is that I would be on a ride the day that the one thing that it needs not to fail fails, and then that would be my death.
Yeah.
I think about that every time I go on, for some reason, Space Mountain, sometimes Thunder Mountain, because I remember when that accident happened, like in 2003. But I think about it every time I go on Space Mountain, and every time I do, and I get nervous and tense and survive, I think about John Hench, because that's exactly the design principles he put into that attraction. He wanted you to feel like you're right on the verge of death, but you survive, and it's an exhilarating experience.
Yeah, but I rode Space Mountain yesterday, and I don't think John Hench had the idea in mind that the squeaking and squealing from the roller coaster would be louder than my screams. I don't think he envisioned that.
No, but it does add to the effect that he was going for, which is the idea of overcoming something that you would never experience in your everyday life. But that we're on the same page then, because I have the same. I'm like, okay, I
kid you
like,
not.
This is a little too squeaky.
Around every turn, this was the loudest I've ever heard it.
It's
and
so
I've heard
loud lately.
Yeah,
so loud.
On every turn yesterday, the thing was like, and I'm like, oh God, please don't fall apart. It's
and
like,
how do you feel?
I'm like holding on for dear life. I'm like, oh my God.
And how do you feel when you get off? It's like, I
didn't die.
I feel great.
No, I feel more like, why did I risk it? What was the point? Like
you survived. But I will say this. I went on the Astro Orbiter for the first and only time, probably back in 2014. And I was with a friend of mine, and we were, squished. I thought we were going to fall out of that thing, and I just wanted it to be over. Had a miserable time. But when I was little, I loved going on Dumbo.
Oh, yeah.
I loved going on Dumbo.
Yeah, I feel like spinner attractions are one of kind of things.
I've never really. I haven't gone on the teacups in a million years.
I
don't enjoy them either.
Yeah, I get motion sick real easy.
I love the teacups.
If
okay,
you guys
I'll give them another try, Alex.
If you guys want barf all over yourselves, then I'll go on as well. But we do
you
have.
really get sick on that?
The last time, I don't like. It's been a while since I've been on, and I do remember the last couple times I've gotten, not like sick, but like woozy a little bit. Like the last time I was last year in Disneyland, I went on Tower of Terror 4 times in a row, and I almost threw up in the animation building. Sort of that kind of thing, but
I'll tell you what fear is. Is the past couple weeks when I ride Peter Pan's flight, as my pirate ship is going over London and then eventually over Neverland, I can hear the wooden beams in the ceiling groaning as the boat is going through. It's like
I know,
and I'm like, oh God, please. Can you imagine just falling straight down?
It's like, not that.
I mean, you have seatbelts on. You have a lap bar.
It's not that high. Not... No. No. You're falling. You're falling about 10 feet onto concrete. That doesn't sound bad if maybe you jumped off a concrete wall and you're landing on your feet and whatever. No, you're landing on your tailbone. All your spine is like compressing onto itself.
You're right.
You know, if you're not careful and you are in the middle of talking, you might accidentally, your jaw might come up and like slice your tongue off.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. That happens.
I know.
So
you just have to be sure that when it does fall, you jump up just before it hits the ground.
You just said there's a lap bar.
You can.
Okay.
Anyways, guys, we have one more voicemail to get to.
Yeah.
This is from T-Will, and I believe we'll figure out what it's about once he starts talking.
Okay. You know, when you really think about it, as of now, what's happening for both coasts of Tomorrowland, you guys are currently getting a new flower bed with a new entrance sign. We're getting a slow remodeling of Tomorrowland already, not just hinted at, it's already happening with Carousel Progress, Mickey Star Traders, which now became Star Traders, very 70s, especially the logo. They're even doing work on the People Mover now to replace the metallic fins to the old white columns back in the day. But anyway, so you guys are getting that, and we're getting our redo of Tomorrowland already and Tron. So even today, Disneyland's Tomorrowland gets a short end of the stick, but it's overall really exciting to see that especially Disneyland's Tomorrowland get the treatment that it deserves, and hopefully that treatment comes with really innovative ideas, or at least something that changes it up, and it's not just Star Wars, Nemo, Buzz. A cool roller coaster, but we're gonna label Star Wars on it anyway because Star Wars. That's the hopeful thing, and I think it could happen.
Well, thank you, Mr. T-Will.
I know, Alex. It was like he was on the show having a conversation.
No,
it was a voicemail.
At the end, I thought he was done, and so I was going to start talking, but then he went again, and I was like, oh, no, I was going to say he has a good point. Walt Disney World does not deserve the refurbishment they are getting.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the only one that says this when I say I enjoyed the 90s version of that Tomorrowland. I like the cheesiness of it, the puns everywhere.
I was making a joke.
I don't like the cheesiness of it. I think it's incredibly dated.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Again, I have a very sentimental attachment to that Tomorrowland. It's the one that I grew up with. It's the one I first experienced. But I loved that. I loved Tomorrowland in general there because, first of all, it had so many more experiences that I had only heard about that used to exist in our Tomorrowland. So I was more excited as a 5-year-old to go on Carousel of Progress and the People Mover, like two things that I had only heard about being passed down from my parents. So that, and they were excited to show me those two things. So that, but the aesthetic, sure, I have like it's the one I grew up with, but if it was like not that aesthetic, I would like probably love it even more. But I think it's dated 90s. It's not a timeless style. The styles of the Tomorrowlands of the past are an actual timeless style. I mean, like you look at especially like Herb Ryman's concept art and you're like, oh yeah, that looks so dated. You're like, wow. I want to go there. Regardless of whether it's 1967 or 2019. And I think I'm assuming the Imagineers for both coasts are trying to push for a futuristic and timeless aesthetic for those lands. I also we don't know a lot about what the Tomorrowland of Disneyland's future is. We very well may get the Tron ride as well. I think they're kind of treating that as a crown jewel attraction of Imagineering. And if we'll see, I mean, we'll get to see for ourselves very soon if it really is a crown jewel attraction. And if it does really well in Florida, they might consider it for here as well. I personally find it, I'm sure it's a great attraction. I've heard and seen what I've heard and seen looks really cool. Just aesthetically, I still find it odd just having like roller coaster number 1, roller coaster number 2, like right next to each other. I just think that's weird planning. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think that unless you guys have any final thoughts you'd like to say about this brand new piece of concept art for Disneyland's Tomorrowland.
Yes. So, Matt, it's actually on a comment that you said. You said...
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. You said this. Matt said, wow, why are there so many trees in this concept art? Well, like I was trying to tell Matt, this was taken in 1998, and there happened to be a lot more trees in that area.
Oh, is that the... Okay.
Yes, and but a lot of the trees you see in this concept art are still there. At Disneyland, such as the 2 giant trees, the identical ones on either side of the Star Tours and the Buzz Lightyear building. Those are still there, and they still look exactly the same. But the ones in the foreground, the ones that are covering the top right and left corners of the picture, those are not at Disneyland anymore. Those are the original walnut trees that decorated the hub of Disneyland from 55 all the way till the early 2000s. When Tony Baxter took them to his house.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I did forget to mention this. This new entrance won't be completed until, I believe, early 2020. So we do still have a little bit of time to wait for these new toppers to come in. For the
Not very long at all.
Disney says they're going to be resuming work in spring.
Oh, spring. That's right. Later part of 2020 then. So we do still have a little bit of time to go.
Yeah, that's when they start work on this. So we probably won't see it till after summer.
Yeah. I am still hanging on to my theory, and I'd like you guys to, 5 years from now, come back to this episode 115 of Matterhorn Mondays. This is not going to be the permanent entrance for the brand new Tomorrowland the Imagineers eventually come up with when that does eventually get built and planned out. So I'm just putting that all out there for you guys. This is going to be demolished in just a few years.
I think it's invalid.
I think it's valid. I also think what you and I have been saying is also valid. So we'll see.
You can't have your cake and eat it too.
I'm saying we don't know, and they're both valid theories. I think the concept art makes this look cheap and temporary. We'll see what it looks like in person. I agree with Superstar Limo's comment about how I hope it doesn't look like Shanghai's Tomorrowland because it is boring and static. And motion is what makes Tomorrowland work. Anyway.
Yeah, let's see. I think that well, I'm 100% otherwise than that. I'm 100% convinced that those lampposts are actually those balls of electricity that shoot electricity out when you touch them. I think that's what those are going to be. Do you guys know? I hope you guys
plasma balls,
plasma
orbs, whichever. Be quiet. They really are. I think I had one once. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
I guess you wouldn't be tall enough to touch them because they do look like they're,
unless
like
you mean
10
a
feet.
Tesla coil, which that's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That is dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they could just have four Tesla coils out for people.
It just zaps people as people are trying to enter the land. It's like, no.
Well, anyways, I think that is just about going to wrap up this episode of Matterhorn Mondays. Thank you to everybody for coming out to today's episode. Again, reminder, you guys, there will be no Matterhorn Mondays episode next week, but the week after, Saturday, hopefully Saturday the 7th, Alex, Chris, and I, Chris from LG Vids, and I will be doing a live podcast inside of Disneyland. I think we're going to do it in Galaxy's Edge. I got to scope out a spot, got to find a spot that has good cell service, and we'll do the live stream like last time. And yeah, again, just like the last December, it will take a couple days for the official podcast to come out on iTunes and Spotify and all that deal, just because I won't have any place to edit it till I get home. So stay tuned for that. Also, guys, alexthehistorian.com for more information on the meetup happening in just 13 days, I think.
That's it? Wow.
Yeah, November really did fly by for some reason.
Ay.
Another year, guys, another year, and we're going to have to...
A new decade.
Dawn
of a new decade. Can't believe it.
Yeah.
Wow, Matt, you'll be here in California in 9 days.
Yeah.
That's I gotta get this place cleaned up.
Well, even if it's dirty, I won't mind, Alex. My room is normally dirty as well, so it's fine by me.
I know, but I don't want you to compare it to your room. So
Well, I mean, I do have Bob Iger taking a nap back there. I forgot to mention. So, Alex,
he's been there for a while. Is he still alive?
It's quite possible he won't be.
I'm getting. There was just a headline.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh.
Bob Iger kidnapped by local mountaineer. Oh my god, guys, they're on TV.
Local mountaineer.
Yeah, you guys know the drill. Links to all the Jeremy's Twitter, Alex's Twitter, all that stuff will be in the description below. Oh yeah, I was saying meetup Friday the 6th of December at 1 p.m. That's Disneyland time, 1 p.m. in the lobby of the Grand Californian Hotel, and I believe Alex and I will be in the parks together almost every day that week, except for Thursday the 5th. I will be for sure in the parks from Monday the 2nd of December up until Sunday the 8th of December. So if you guys, for some reason, can't make it to the meetup on the 6th, and if you want to come say hi to me or to Alex or to anybody else I have with me that day, feel free. I'll probably be like live streaming throughout the week and tweeting my location for you guys, so yeah, feel free to do that. I'll also have Matt Snaps pins, you guys, to hand out at the meetup, and I'll have some as well to hand out to people whenever I see them if they recognize
I will have stickers, and if not stickers, then even better, I will have buttons. I'm working on making buttons for everybody who shows up. So
I will have nothing because I will not be there.
Sad tear running down my face. Let's start a GoFundMe, you guys, for Jeremy to stay there with us during that week.
Well, the thing is that I will be in Disneyland in probably a week because I'm visiting my family in Southern California for Thanksgiving, and I was gonna try to see if I could push it through that extra week, but I can't do that.
Could you at least push it through like December 3rd so me and Matt can hang out with you?
Okay, wait. Let me see. You know, the funny thing is...
Guys, it's happening live right now, you guys. It's happening.
You know what the irony is? Is that I come back to New York on December 3rd.
Shaking my head.
Like 2 ships passing in the night. But I will be then back in Southern California from Christmas Eve to that first week in January. So Alex, or I was going to say Matt, but I guess my brain wanted to say Alex. Okay, let's not talk about this on the air.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Well, you guys, yeah, we'll figure everything out if it does eventually work out. But like I said, links to all the articles we refer to will be in the description below. Link to Alex's channel, links to Jeremy's Twitter, links to the Patreon, you guys. Matterhorn Matt Patreon. Gonna be needing that once 2020 comes around. Wink,
Some
wink, YouTube.
Very exciting stuff for all of you.
Oh, I was referring to the destruction of YouTube happening come 2020, but that as well too.
Yeah.
Anyways, you guys know. You guys know the drill, and as always,
awful.
Wait a minute. I gotta end like this.
Have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, you guys.
Great.
Okay, bye everybody.